Certain people often claim that the Earth is flat and that the sun just circles above us like a spotlight. But there's one huge problem with this: the seasons. Let's explore this. Hello there and welcome back to Star Stuff, where we try to explain complex ideas as simply as possible for people who just don't get it. If you've ever wondered why it's summer in one hemisphere and winter in another, you'll see that it's quite impossible on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, the sun supposedly circles above the disk like a flashlight, moving closer or farther to explain seasons. But this doesn't match what we actually observe. For example, when it's summer in Australia, it's winter in Europe. When it's spring in South Africa, it's autumn or fall in Canada. That opposite seasonal pattern can only happen if Earth is a globe tilted on its axis. Here's how it really works. Earth is tilted at about 23.5 degrees on its axis. As it orbits the sun, this tilt means that at one point of the year, the northern hemisphere leans toward the sun, giving it longer days, more direct sunlight, and warmer weather. That's summer. At the same time, the southern hemisphere is tilted away, getting shorter days, weaker sunlight, and colder weather. That's winter. 6 months later, it flips. Perfectly explained on a globe. When the northern hemisphere tilts toward the sun, it's summer there, even though Earth is actually at aphelion, which means farthest from the sun. When the northern hemisphere tilts away from the sun, it's winter there, even though Earth is actually at perihelion, closest to the sun. So how does this connect to spring and autumn or fall? These are the transition periods when Earth is positioned so that neither hemisphere is tilted toward or away from the sun. And that happens around the equinoxes, March and September. The distance, aphelion or perihelion, has almost no effect here. It's all about tilt and sunlight angle. Before I move on, I feel like I need to explain the Earth's rotation a little further. The Earth's spin is at about 1,600 kilometers per hour, which is about 1,000 miles per hour, at the equator. That sounds insanely fast, like faster than a jet. But here's the key. Speed is always relative to distance. So a car going at 1,600 kilometers per hour would be covering about 27 kilometers every single minute on a road. You'd feel every bump, every curve, and gust of wind. It is extremely fast for a small car moving on the road. But the Earth isn't small. The equator is almost 40,000 kilometers around. To make one full spin in 24 hours, the Earth has to cover that distance smoothly. That's why the speed sounds huge, but it's across such a massive circle that we don't feel it. Think of it this way. A car wheel might spin several times a second because it's small. The Earth is gigantic, so even though it only spins once per day, the edge of that wheel, the equator, has to move thousands of kilometers per hour to complete the circle. Now that that's clear, back to the seasons. If the Earth were flat and the sun moved in a circle above it, both hemispheres would get sunlight at the same angle and length of day. That would mean the same seasons at the same time. Flat Earthers sometimes try to fix this by saying the sun moves in smaller circle above the center of the Earth in the northern hemisphere and in a bigger circle around the outside for the southern summer. But here's a question that flat earthers never ask. Why? Why would the sun make those movements? For fun? Also, if the sun really did that, we'd see huge changes of its size in the sky and the path it takes every day, which we don't. The sun stays the same size, and its path across the sky perfectly matches what we expect on a tilted globe, not on a flat disk or whatever other model people might bring forth. So think about this. In December, Australians head to the beach, while Canadians are shoveling snow. In June, South Africans are in jackets and coats, while people in the US are having summer barbecues. The opposite seasons are reality every single year, and they only make sense on a tilted, rotating globe. So the next time someone says the Earth is flat, just remind them of the seasons. One tilted globe explains everything perfectly. No mental gymnastics needed. Seasons are not only beautiful, but they're also proof that the Earth isn't flat. It's a globe. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, please give it a like and subscribe to Star Stuff, and share this with anyone who still thinks the sun is playing flashlight tag above a disc. Cool beans.